Hey guys, and welcome to the Isolation Station podcast. A little bit of quarantine content to occupy your ears. I'm your host with Nikhil. So, Nikhil.
Yo, what's good?
And today we're joined by he's a guest we've had on before, but he's just so special and so hard to get rid of. That he's back again. It's Jonathan Guthridge.
Hi,
ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
hello.
He's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Before we get started, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. If you're on Spotify, make sure you follow. If you're on Instagram, make sure you follow. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe, like, leave a comment, do your thing. So,
do your thing. Yeah. We want to hear from you. We want questions. We don't want to run out of topics and things. Anyway, let's move on.
So today's topic of discussion is Star Wars, more specifically the prequel trilogy, which is Episode 1, Phantom Menace, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, if you didn't know. First, I want to ask you, first of all, what would you put your ranking of worst to best of these 3 episodes?
The 3 episodes. Start
with the worst.
Start with the worst. Number 2.
Yeah,
I would agree on that. Yeah,
I would agree.
And then
we all know what the best one is.
The best one is very easy. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Okay, that was easy.
So full stop. Hate me as much as you want for that, but it is my favourite.
Yeah, I hear him say that all the time.
That's not a bad thing. I think that's a genuinely reasonable sort of opinion, because
I think as a Star Wars, with the story and stuff, that might be the best. But as an actual movie, I wouldn't say it's the best.
I think it was just so surprising that you got that just incredible movie at the end of such a disappointing trilogy, and it just sort of taints it.
Well, do you know why it's such a good movie compared to the rest of the trilogy?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Because they stole the plot off
Macbeth. I knew he was going to say it.
Yeah, okay, we can on my channel coming out soon explaining that. But
yeah, we can get onto that a bit later if you want. But let me ask you, what do you think specifically?
What that is.
What do you think specifically went wrong with this trilogy? At least episode 1 and 2. What would you say went wrong with them?
They didn't do a lot of interesting stuff. So for the most part of episode 2, Anakin's just hanging out with Padme on Naboo. For the most part of episode 1, they're just sort of flying around or in Tatooine. They're just not doing a lot.
It was very
political, yes.
In episodes 1 and 2, there's not much of a driving force to get them to do something. Yeah. It's like episode 1's like, okay, let's fly away somewhere. Okay, now we need to race in a pod race. Okay, now let's fight this new Sith Lord that's just randomly appeared with a double-ended lightsaber. Like, it's really small little progressions. Whereas in episode 3, it's like, right, here's the end goal. Anakin becomes evil. Here's how we get there. You know?
Yeah, and like you could probably watch episode 3 with maybe a 20-minute sum up of the last 2 movies, and you'd still get the idea. You still get the whole thing, and it probably picks up a lot more after the clones come in, which is why the Clone Wars series is doing so good. Because
the problem with it, you go.
No, not you, because I don't know what I was going to say.
Oh, nice. I think the problem with episode 1 and 2 is that it was a bit too early. So they try to do a lot with CGI and a lot with special effects, especially in episode 1, because a lot of the droids as well, a lot of the aliens, it's great. And they try to do a lot with computer-generated stuff. And it would look brilliant if it came out today. Because if you think of the sequels and their CGI, if you tried to put that sort of image onto episode 1, it would look a lot more realistic. Sure, you'd be able to tell it's CGI, but it would look a lot more compelling. And I feel like episode 3 was just at the right time for it to be good. Because General Grievous in episode 3 looks brilliant. But episode 1 and 2, it's just a bit too 90s.
I feel like where that really stood out was in Phantom Menace towards the end, around that massive green, I don't know what it is, but it's like a open land where the droids are fighting. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, outside.
It looks so bad.
It
just looks
so
bad.
Feed Palace, yeah.
Yes.
That's what really stood out, because they were just not ready at that time.
But, I mean, you can say that, and CGI does make it look a bit more believable, but at the same time, there are a lot of really cruddy movies out there that did very well, despite the bad CGI. I'm failing to think of any, granted, but I think because you're coming from a standard where everything was done with practical effects, and so everything was interactable with, and it looked real. And when you saw it, you're like, ew. But you're not like that with this one. You're just like, is Jar Jar being an idiot again?
But
That's funny.
We also have to bear in mind the whole prequel trilogy, maybe apart from definitely apart from episode 3. Episode 1 and 2 had this light-hearted, childish, colourful feel about it. It wasn't very serious. It was all a bit comical. It was a bit comic booky. It was very colourful. It was over the top. It was exaggerative. It was a bit of a stretch at times, but it was this light-hearted, fun feel to it. If you try to do episodes 1 and 2, but with a really serious, dark feel about it, the CGI would have looked a lot worse and come across a lot worse. Because if you have this fun, jovial feel about it, CGI that's a bit rubbish kind of works, sort of. But if you had it try to be a lot darker and a lot more serious, then it would have looked considerably worse. So we kind of have to, be.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense.
Obviously, it would be cool if the CGI was good, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. I think George Lucas did really well with the original trilogy. They had like nothing to really CGI, like they didn't have any CGI technology like as they do today. And
the best stuff they
made work with it.
Although some of the obviously with the original trilogy, you got the 2004 remakes, digital remasters, and you say, you add in all this pointless CGI and it looks a bit rubbish. There were some bits that drastically improved it. So on Cloud City in episode 5, in the original cut of the movie, it was just a load of white walls and it looked a bit bleak and barren.
There were no windows.
Remasters added in the windows, added in the ships that flew through the sky. It improves it.
Have you guys seen the original version of Jabba the Hutt, or even the Emperor?
It was.
Yeah, they definitely improved on a couple of stuff there.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, carry on.
No, because again, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so for the superheroes one we did the other day, we did a Mount Rushmore for Marvel and DC. What would be your prequel trilogy Star Wars Mount Rushmore if you had to choose like four heads?
Oh my god, am I gonna have to draw this again? I know I don't want it.
Jonny?
I'd say obviously Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt. My instinct would then be to say Mace Windu and Yoda, but I feel like Palpatine needs a place.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't know who he'd replace though. Probably Yoda, because Yoda doesn't really do much in the first trilogy.
But neither does Mace Windu.
Yeah, Mace Windu's he's just there to say, "Oh no, you can't be a Jedi Master. What are you on about?
Yeah,
been doing this for far."
I always feel like Yoda defines the original trilogy. Not defines, but Yoda holds his place and comes into his own in the original trilogy because that's where he was originally written. Trilogy in the prequels, he's kind of just there because he's meant to be.
And on top of which, he's such a different character back in the original trilogy.
Like, the original trilogy is like joking around, like bit of a weirdo.
Whereas Mace Windu feels a lot more at home in the prequels. The prequels is where he resides, and it's only where you ever see him. Whereas Yoda spans across all movies, actually, doesn't he? Because he comes back in episode 8.
Yeah. All the trilogies. Does quite well for himself there.
I'd personally put Jar Jar Binks up there. Yeah, so we're saying Obi-Wan, Anakin, and
I feel like Padme did have a part to play in it. It was small, but
Padme's a very important character, as I do kind of mention in my Macbeth episode 3 theory. Even though she doesn't do much in terms of actual physical stuff, she's a queen for a bit, then she gets scratched on the back during a fight, and then she gets pregnant. Like, she doesn't do much. But if Padme didn't exist, none of the trilogy would have happened.
None of it would have
happened. Anakin wouldn't have been as swayed to go with Qui-Gon. They wouldn't have got on so well. There wouldn't have been the same effect during the pod race. They wouldn't have had the whole thing in episode 2. There wouldn't have been a motivation for Anakin to turn to the dark side. If Padme didn't exist, Anakin has no reason to become a Sith Lord.
Exactly.
So she is a very, very important character, even though she does nothing.
Yeah, it's one of those background characters that drives the plot silently. And it's sort of because a lot of their development is done off screen because they try to cram everything with Padme being a child molester into episode 2, like from the start of episode 1, like you can see that Anakin is trying to get in there, but in episode 2, Padme sort of, it's sort of a reflection of the other trilogy, really, because episode 5 was driven as a love story between Han and Leia, and that's what they're trying to do with episode 2.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know.
As George Lucas said, it's all poetry, it rhymes.
It rhymes.
Which is why Force Awakens just blatantly rips off A New Hope.
Okay, to be fair, yeah, it does. But I think I still love that movie. But that's for another day.
That's another trilogy. We're not worrying about that.
Yeah. What would you say is your favourite quote from this trilogy? From any person, any character?
Oh, this is an easy one.
I know. Yeah.
What's yours, Jack?
We're smart. How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
That's the same. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I knew that's what you're gonna go for.
Wait, where's that from?
It's episode 3 when Obi-Wan and Anakin have just rescued Palpatine from General Grievous's ship during the Battle of Coruscant, and they're running through some corridors to escape, and they get trapped in ray shields, and Anakin goes, "Ray shields. Wait a minute, how did this happen? We're smarter than this."
It's brilliant.
I love it because it's this really heroic rescue, and they've done all these really low probability things, and they've made it to the end, and they're escaping, and then they just get stopped by just normal security systems, and you're like, "Oh wait, yeah, no, that does kind of make sense, doesn't it?"
Yeah, mine's got to be hello there.
Hello there.
It's got to be. It's just,
you can say that for every single trilogy, because he says it twice, and then Ray says it in the last one.
Okay, what do you say about? Let's talk about the actors a bit. What do you say about Hayden Christensen's performance as Anakin?
I think he probably couldn't have done a better job.
You think he gets a lot of hate? To be fair,
I know he gets a lot of hate, which I think is just wrong.
I can see where people are going, coming from, but I think he was a very good portrayal of Anakin Skywalker.
I feel like you go.
You go again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like in episode 2, him as an actor wasn't fantastic, but then again, the character he had to work with was this teenage boy that was in love and a bit emo and didn't like Sam. Like, he didn't have much to work with, and he did his best he could do. It was pretty terrible, but he did the best he could do. Episode 3, however, when Anakin actually starts to have a bit of depth as a character, being Macbeth, that's when Hayden had a bit more to work with, and he actually had the ability to take the role on properly, and that's why his acting was better in episode 3, I would say.
Yeah, I think what we said in the superheroes episode is no matter how good an actor is, the script, if you've got a bad script, then there's not much you can do about it. And I think Attack of the Clones was just so poorly made that he just did what he could.
I reckon that's probably an issue that plagues most of fiction, though, because you're putting your characters, which you want to humanize so that the audience can relate to them, you're putting them in positions and events and all these situations which otherwise just would never happen. And you've got to somehow work the script to make it so that these are believable people.
Yeah,
but it's by no means impossible to have a character that an audience can sympathise with and can feel emotion for, and yet have them not be human and relatable. So, being obviously doing a very important A-level theatre studies, when we were doing the sixth form play and doing Metamorphosis, we had to play a beetle, a person that had been turned into a beetle, and playing that character, you want the audience to sympathise with you. You want the audience to feel Gregor's pain, he's the beetle, and you want them to feel his sorrow, and that really, really not easy, but really effective when you're able to portray it. But you don't have to be a human character for that.
Yeah, so it's something that they can definitely do, but if you're going to do it, you've got to sort of put a lot of emphasis into it. You can't just off the mail go, I don't like sand. We should go make out the grass over there. Yeah, let's do it.
I kill the sand people, the children, the mothers too.
Not just the men. That's a great quote. Honestly, that trilogy is probably the best for the quotes.
I
The
hate
stupid
that.
quotes. Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
one that you use quite a bit. I'm playing
There's
Want to buy some death
Yeah.
sticks?
There's
It's Marlow
COD.
when he
Oh,
goes
that's
on
sick.
alley.
not much to debate around this actor.
Not
Ewan
anymore.
McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
By far one of the best.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that guy.
I think he's probably like, as much as it's called a Skywalker like trilogy or saga, I think revolved a lot around Obi-Wan.
Yeah, because like he's probably the epitome of one of the best Jedi's.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Well, when
So
I
he's
think
got-
of... You go.
No, not again. He's got sort of more high ground.
See what you did there.
Yeah. So at any sort of point, you have to be able to side with him. So
Yeah.
he's a very likable character because of that.
He's like the perfect Jedi, I think. He's
Yeah.
always doing good. He's
And if you've seen any of the Clone Wars, the stuff that he gets put through in that, and he's still on the light side, he still maintains the Jedi path. It's very impressive. It's not impressive because it's fiction. Never mind. Yeah.
How about Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu? I think he's another standout, just very good character, very good actor.
They had a lot of known names in this trilogy, didn't they?
Yeah. Natalie
Samuel
Portman.
L. Jackson, Natalie Portman. What was Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
Mm.
And you had Yoda
Ahmed Best.
too. That was crazy.
Ahmed Best as Jar Jar Binks.
He's the best.
How about Ian McDiarmid?
Is that the Emperor?
That's Palpatine, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Palpatine. Well,
I think-
yeah. He's probably done a really good job because he's had to portray now a villain that spans 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And
I think him playing like Sheev Palpatine before he went all wrinkly, I think he did really well.
as a child, having not seen the original trilogy, or at least not being able to make the assumption that that was the Emperor, it was such a sort of mind-bending shift.
Exactly.
Of course, now it's so ingrained in our sort of
it's like you can't really
pop culture. You can't really unsee it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And before he went all unlimited power and just turned into some very weird,
Raisin.
like looking.
He turned into a raisin. That's what happened to them. It's called raisinification.
Is it?
Technical term. Yeah.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The more you know. And then he defenestrated Mace Windu.
Yeah, and
one of the actual situations where you can actually use the word defenestrate.
I don't think I've ever used that seriously, but he actually did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk about was like obviously the whole trilogy was kind of leading up to the point of Anakin turning to the dark side, as we saw in 4, 5, and 6. Him kind of ruling the galaxy with Emperor Palpatine. But I wanted to know what do you think? There's obviously him leaving his mother, him watching his mother die, killing the Sand People, watching Padme die in his vision, helping kill Windu, and then all of Palpatine's tricks. What would you say is like the key factor for his fall to the dark side?
Right. Right.
I was going to say, well, I'd say Padme.
Would you?
If it was, as I said earlier, if it wasn't for Padme, he wouldn't have gone down the dark side. The reason he was interested in learning Sith Lord power was so he could influence the midichlorians to create life. Oh, that's another good quote that we didn't think about. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis thought?
Ironic.
But the whole reason he was interested with Palpatine at the start, the whole reason he then gave in to his dark side tendencies, like killing all the Sand People, was because he had that little voice in the back of his head that said, you need to do all this to save Padme. The reason you're doing this is to save Padme, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Part of me wants to
Macbeth.
It's also so linked to Macbeth. I'm really excited for this video, Jonny. But I think it actually is the Emperor, because if the Emperor wasn't there to say, "Hang about, what are you doing here, mate? Just you know you can save Padme, right?" He wouldn't have done any of that stuff. Without the Emperor there, he probably wouldn't have had sort of whispers in his head. He probably would have gone to Yoda instead of consulting in the Chancellor. He also wouldn't be assigned to him to keep tracks on him, so he wouldn't sort of be able to be tricked.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the fact that he has this potential, a lot of power.
Yeah.
That it sort of becomes.
He's very manipulative. He's really good at manipulating.
Yeah. Great
I'd
power.
say it's when he helps to kill Mace Windu.
Well, that's the tipping point, definitely.
Yeah, because up until that point, I think he knew he needed Palpatine, but he
also knew the right thing to do.
Yeah,
he went and he told the Jedi Council.
Yeah, he literally like confronted Palpatine, like had his lightsaber out, was like saying, "You're the Sith Lord," and like but I think it's also like ingrained in his mind that he is supposed to destroy the Sith. He's the chosen one. So I think that's
from an early age.
Destroy the Sith, not join them.
Yeah,
but like it's something that Palpatine had been drilling into him for a while because I mean, like when even at the start of the movie, Episode 3, he's got Dooku captured, and Palpatine's like, "Do it," and he does it. Do it. That's beautiful. It's like poetry.
Yeah. I think he's also like at that point, he's like, "I shouldn't kill him. It's not the Jedi way." And then
Palpatine's sort of influence makes him overcome the Jedi way. So it's a mixture of things. I think that's why.
What about his mother?
Oh yeah.
Like he obviously had to leave his mother in the first, and then he watches his mother die, and then he goes around killing the Sand People, and you hear Qui-Gon going, "Anakin, no," and all that stuff.
I think he was faking it. He never loved his mother. He just ran away. He didn't really give it a second thought, and then he never goes back to her. And then as soon as he sees her dead, he's like, "Oh, this is a good chance to kill some Sand People. Hey, let's get it."
Yeah, but he couldn't visit her because the Jedi Council probably, like, the Jedi aren't supposed to really have that kind of family connection.
It's not the Jedi way, you say. But I don't know.
I'd argue that Anakin never really had a proper moral compass that pointed towards the light side of the Force. Because obviously the prophecy said he was being balanced to the Force. Doesn't mean he's going to be the perfect Jedi that kills all the Sith. It was a misled prophecy. Actually, it meant that he would leave 2 Jedi and 2 Sith at the end of Episode 3. So I feel like from the beginning, he never had that strong tendency towards the light side. That's why he went and killed all the Sand People, because he didn't have that voice inside of him, that urge to do only good. And like when he killed Count Dooku, a true, proper 100% light side committed Jedi like Obi-Wan would have gone, "Hold up, Palpatine, you're telling me to do it. I'm not going to do it because I know that I shouldn't, because it's not the Jedi way, and I'm not doing it because I'm so firm set in my morals." But Anakin had that thing inside him, that will inside him, which wasn't completely dedicated to the light side of the Force, which then when Palpatine says, "Oh, go on, do it," he goes like, "Oh, I'll go on, then I will."
That could also span back from the fact that, like, in the first, like, Jedi, when they know they're Force sensitive, they're sent to the Jedi Temple like straight away. Then he was a bit late, maybe, and he didn't get like raised properly.
But Luke
it's that damn male.
That is true. Luke. Right. Yeah.
But he nearly wasn't. That was the thing. I mean, you had the whole guessing, is he white during Episode 6? And you got all the extended universe too, where Luke definitely goes to the dark side. But it's just not really explored because it was 1980s and they couldn't do a fictional movie made for kids that had a dark, depressing undertone when no one wins. I guess
Luke definitely isn't the perfect Jedi, especially if you look at the new movies when he's kind of
I mean, he isn't the chosen one. I suppose we don't really have the perfect Jedi unless we're counting Obi-Wan, because that guy, he's beautiful.
That guy can't do any wrong.
He can't do any wrong.
I feel really bad for Luke as a character because when the original trilogy came out, it was like, hey, Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master, look at him, he's all really powerful and he's got the Force, whoa, good guy. But now we have the prequels, it's like, well, when he was fighting out of anger against Darth Vader in Episode 6, that was the dark side of the Force that he was channeling. All the stuff he was impatient. He refused to finish his training with Yoda in order to rescue his friends, which is something, as we learn in the prequels, that a true Jedi shouldn't do. They shouldn't have that emotional connection. Luke Skywalker was filled with emotion, which is something that we learn the Jedi shouldn't have. So at first, when the original trilogy came out, it's like, whoa, he's a great guy. Now the prequels have come out. You look back on it and you think, hang on, this dude ain't that great. Even though
that could also derive that could derive from the fact that he started very late. Like he was basically a teenager. He was very how old was he?
Juvenile. I don't know, because he's going off to college, isn't he? He wants to go down to Takashi's station to pick up some power converters. And all his friends have gone off to the academy. Not Takashi, I don't know.
6'9".
Yeah, well, the Takashi station to pick up some power converters.
Takashi. Yeah, no, he wants to go off to the academy, doesn't he? And he's like,
so
harvest.
Let's assume that's like 18, 19 maybe.
Yeah, 18, 19, I'd say.
So he started a good 15, 16 years late. So you wouldn't expect him to be the perfect Jedi.
Also, he says in Episode 6, I think he calls himself Jedi Master, who granted him the rank of Master.
Well, he could be one of those.
He can be on as many Jedi councils as he likes, but he's not been granted the rank of Master.
After Anakin fought so hard for it, he's just, I'm a Master now.
Anakin never became a Master.
Does that mean that his son, a Jedi Master, killed him before he became a Master? That's that's depressing.
Side, didn't he? So he wasn't going to
he became a Sith Lord.
Oh, is that just as good? I think there's one above Sith Lord, isn't there? Because it goes Apprentice, then Sith Lord.
Isn't it Emperor?
Something.
Oh,
no, it's... Oh, I don't know what it is. I can't remember. That's extended universe stuff that we don't really hear about.
I would have thought that you get the title of Darth when you become a Lord, but you don't. Because in Episode 3, Anakin kneels down in front of Palpatine, and Palpatine's like, arise, Darth Vader. So Darth's not that great of a title, really, is it?
I think that's just the name they get. I don't know.
Now that's just the name that Emperor Palpatine likes. He's Darth Maul, yeah, I like that one. Oh, Darth Plagueis, yeah, sure. What was the name of, it wasn't, he's Darth Sidious, and then you got Darth Vader, but Count Dooku had another name.
Darth Tyrannus.
Darth Tyrannus, yeah.
Come on, Jack,
how would you guys know that so quick?
Because we're true fans.
That's kind of scary. Anyway, yeah, so you got that. I think it's just a Sith name. So all of those people have their own identities, apart from Darth Maul, who we don't know.
He's a sick character. I'm sad that they didn't expand on him a bit more in the movies.
They could have done a lot more. I know that he's got the Clone Wars, and I'm happy they're at least doing something there. But they decided to bring him back in Solo, and then still didn't do anything.
Exactly.
It's like, no, but they're not going to really do any more anthology movies, are they? I mean, we know that he dies
I'm thinking
by Obi-Wan's hand.
Yeah, we do get that.
So he's got to be dead before Episode 4.
But then in Star Wars Rebels, I don't know if that's canon or not, but he fights Darth Maul again on Tatooine when he's watching over Luke.
Yeah, that's when he kills him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got to be dead.
About Episode 1. No.
I meant in the Rebels series. So he's got to be dead before Episode 4. And we've had something. We've had a piece of media that chronologically fits about 5 years before Episode 4. So he's got about a 5-year gap to do something interesting. And I don't know if we can fit any movies in there.
Yeah, well, they've announced the Obi-Wan TV show, haven't they? So could happen there.
That's true.
You'll get Disney Plus.
I will get Disney Plus for that thing.
Yeah, that is going to be so good. Also, we have The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian's coming out. Oh, but most importantly, we got what was it? Lady and the Tramp remake. God, that's beautiful.
Oh dear, Jack. You really are a troubled guy.
I am.
So are they doing that with dogs?
They're doing it with dogs.
If it ends up anything like the Cats movie,
let's not.
Do you remember
that's a good thing?
Do you remember 101 Dalmatians? And then do you remember 102 Dalmatians? Do you remember how they remade those using dogs?
Nah.
That was weird. I don't think it worked.
Star Wars.
Back to Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. Can we discuss the Lego stuff? I kind of wanted to talk about the Lego stuff.
More specifically?
Well, we've got the Lego games we could talk about.
More specifically,
Because we got-
Nikhil dropping 700 quid on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I really want that to happen. Nikhil,
Yeah.
if you do that, I'll put 20 quid towards it, and then I get to come around for like
You
half
get
an
to
hour.
put one
and build
piece on.
it. I get to put one piece on. I'm done.
Yeah, but how long do you reckon that would take to build?
I don't know.
Considering
5
I've never
hours.
did anything Lego before.
What do you mean you haven't done anything on Lego before?
It's on It's on John Lewis. Didn't know that.
Yeah, John Lewis does everything.
John
They won't
Lewis
give my
had
dad's
just
computer back
units.
because they actually do. They are. It's beautiful. I keep saying
Right.
that. Anyway, Lego stuff because we've got a new Lego Star Wars game coming out, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a
complete
Switch for it.
Skywalker. So you can get it on Xbox, and PC.
I know, but I just want to Switch.
That's a good excuse. You can get what's just come out? Animal Crossing on it too. Everyone's loving that game.
No, I ain't a fan of that.
You know what? What would you play on your Switch other than Lego Star Wars: The Complete Skull Saga?
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know what I would play. Do they have Pokemon on it?
Splatoon. It does.
It'll have to be Pokemon. How
You
about
could-
the original Star Wars, The Complete Saga? That was a game and a half.
It was a game.
Original.
Especially,
No, it isn't actually, is it? Because you had the video game before that.
yeah,
'Cause you
I know.
But Star Wars: The Complete Saga anyway.
Yeah, the scene where they're like parking the
Space car.
Yeah, no, this massive spaceship.
Oh, yeah,
In
the
the
space
hangar.
shuttle in the negotiations.
Yeah, and it just blows up.
Iconic.
And then they
Iconic.
had to stay floating in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the good times.
Oh my god. That game is probably the root of some of my childhood changes. Just any reference or likability towards Star Wars probably came from that game.
So,
Yeah.
cool hint about that game: if you get all the gold bricks, which have got
Which you have
Jedi.
done.
Yeah, which which you get through doing True Jedi and finding all the canisters. If you get all the gold bricks, it automatically gets you all the red bricks as well. So don't waste time looking for red bricks. Just get all the gold bricks, and they get automatically filled in.
Mm.
Which is
Okay, how about
nice.
we? Yeah. How about we talk about the TV shows they started making? So the Mandalorian. Opinions on the Mandalorian, first of all.
Very good. Very good. I liked it. I don't think it was as good as everyone said it was.
Yeah, I agree. Actually.
Because, it does a good job of showing what the Star Wars universe is like from a non-Jedi perspective. But also, it's just not a lot happens.
I think yeah. I think as a TV show, it's solid.
Within
Yeah,
the
Baby
first
Yoda
2
carried the whole
episodes-
thing.
Yeah, he's the reason that it's got any good rating.
Yeah, I think as a TV show, it's a very solid TV show, but it's just a bit. It doesn't really do much. It's a bit. It doesn't push any boundaries. It's just. I think it's trying to play it safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I really hope they do something good because they've introduced the Darksaber and Moff Gideon as a good antagonist that we want to see not alive.
It's also rumored that Ahsoka Tano is going to be in the new one.
Yes, she's been cast. Who's playing her again? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But she looked like she could play her well,
Yeah.
which is good. I don't know if adding a Jedi perspective will sort of taint the underworld sort of view that we've got.
I don't think she's going to be a main character.
Really?
I don't know, because if they put her as a main character, then it's going to kind of take away from the Mandalorian, the actual guy.
Yeah, I guess so. But at the same time, we haven't really had a live action version of Ahsoka. It would just be nice to see
that
what
is
she
true.
does. I'd be up for it. And it's not like we can't have more than one main character. We've got sort of the team that they've got going there with that rebel freedom girl and
Viking lady. She looks like a Viking.
Viking lady and bounty hunter man, and we got rid of the small man and the robot. I liked the robot. I really
Marlow,
really wish
yeah.
they did. God, sorry. I wish they did more with the robot, the T8 unit, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it because they do
Okay,
have a
how
lot of
about
options.
the Obi-Wan TV show that they've announced?
Well, we got Hugh McGregor, so it's already a 10 out of 10. Really,
Yeah.
I don't think they
How
can
could
do
they make
anything
it an
wrong.
11 out of 10 then?
Hayden Christian coming back.
Do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that he'd be down to come back for it, and he gave his voice.
How old
Like-
is he now?
I don't know, in his
It's been like a good
40s,
15
30s.
years since the episode 2 came out.
Hayden Christensen is
He's 38 years old.
38. That's not too bad.
He
He
looks
could pull it
really
off.
good.
Does he?
Yeah, I think he does at least.
I imagine
Yeah,
he
he
has
does.
one of those faces that just sort of stayed stationary in time. Just doesn't change.
Like the earlier photos of him that I found online, like you look at him and go, "Yeah, that's Hayden Christensen." But like these up to date ones, he looks.
I think it was the hair that did it for him in the prequels. The hair really made him stand out, I think.
Oh yeah, I know.
So when he's
I really
got
like- It's good hair. Yeah, he has
Has-
hair. That's good.
yeah.
He's got one
Anyway.
of those faces that isn't amazingly memorable though. Like you look at Daniel Radcliffe and then you think, yeah, that's Harry Potter. Then anything ever that he goes in ever will always be that's Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
it's Harry Potter. Yeah.
But people like Hayden Christensen, these photos of him without the long hair, and even Mark Hamill to an extent, you can get away with casting him in other things and you'll be fine. Ewan McGregor's the same as well.
I like Ewan McGregor. Yeah. What does he look
If
like?
you could recast any character in the original trilogy, who would you recast and who like cast them as? That makes sense.
In the original trilogy or the prequels,
Sorry, the prequels, yeah, prequels.
Prequels.
I'd recast Jar Jar Binks to not exist.
That's actually a good shout.
Yeah, who was an actor that died like halfway through the trilogy? If you get them to do it, then they can't finish the trilogy with him.
But then they could just replace him, he'd be even worse.
He would be even worse, but it's difficult to be even worse. And I think, you know, at least that way we get two perspectives. I don't know.
I'd recast Anakin as Logan Paul.
Well then.
You hate it because you can imagine it.
Yeah. Okay, what would you say? Okay, the new movies. What would you say is the worst new movie? Like of the 7, 8, and 9.
7, 8, and 9.
You're gonna hate me, but I don't like 7.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I think it's a solid. No, it isn't a solid start. Yeah, 7. No, 8. 8.
I was going to say 8.
Everyone says 8. I love 8.
See,
Oh my god! What?
I agree. I like 8. A lot of people don't like it because it just messes up the characters, and it's sort of it's a rubbish film for pacing. But then number 9 came along, and it was an even worse film for pacing. So it was just you don't really know where you're going.
Because I was about to compare those movies to the prequel trilogy. Because obviously you've got, what would you say is the worst trilogy out of the two, the prequels or the new movies? Because obviously with the new movies, like you could say they were all just not amazing. But then the prequels, 2 of them were just awful, but 1 was really good.
I think the prequels, because you had 2 not great movies and then you had 1 really good movie. But
So you'd say the prequels are better?
I'd say the prequels are worse.
I'd say the
with the
prequels are better.
Because with the last trilogy, you've got, maybe the makings of 2 good movies. You could piece together parts from the 3 movies and make 2 good movies. You'd maybe get 1.5 from the
No,
prequels.
because I think 7 is an amazing movie.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
That's the problem.
Nikhil, you could write episode 7. If you were in J.J. Abrams' seat, you could have written episode 7.
I know,
as
but
it
I'm
is.
saying.
You just get a general plot line of episode 4 and you go like, right, Luke Skywalker, cross that out, Rey.
It's like, okay, so you know those games that kids used to play when they didn't have computers or friends? It's when they where they write out a story, but they miss out the nouns and the verbs. That's what they did with this one. They just took the nouns and the verbs and they switched them around a bit, and they renamed the bloody, I don't know. It's just the exact same story.
Apart from the words Han Solo and Chewbacca, kept those in.
Keep those in, because we've got to have a little bit of nostalgia. Bring them back. Darth Vader is going to be...
He's somewhere, we don't know where.
Oh, is this another dust sort of desert planet? God, that's original. That's original trilogy.
No, I'm sorry, but that is easily the best movie.
No, it isn't, because after that point, they kind of shift off. They kind of do something different. Episode 8 is one of the most unique movies for that regard, because it's following the two different storylines, and you got different characters introduced, which they just don't do anywhere else, really.
Problem with episode 7 and episode 9, and the reason I like episode 8 is because in episode 7 and episode 9, Rey speaks a bit too much. Actually, just Rey speaks full stop. That's the issue. Rey exists in those movies. Episode 8, she just kind of follows Luke Skywalker around, then has some FaceTime calls with Kylo Ren. Episode 7 and 9, she actually does stuff. And that's why
episode 8 had Rose, or whatever her name is.
Rose Tico.
That's true.
Yeah, but episode 9 didn't. So what makes it, you can't really...
I think episode 9 is the worst Star Wars movie, other than Attack of the Clones.
I really feel like we're going off track from the prequels here, but why?
Yeah, I hate that movie with a passion.
A lot of people did.
It was so poorly made.
It introduced too much new stuff too late to notice. Episode 6 in the original trilogy introduced some new stuff, but generally it was same characters. It was same Emperor that we met before. It was same everything. It was just a sort of new setting. Episode 9 was, right, now we've got loads of ships that you didn't know about. Final Order, hey, new thing. Didn't mention that, sorry. This new planet, Exeter, or wherever it is.
Exeter.
And it's too much in one hit, too late, you know?
Oh,
it is. So
it's just
bad.
Because you got, what was it? The Emperor, he's dead. You don't just bring someone back from the dead. That's just lazy writing. On top of that, you got the, oh, God. It sort of defiles what the rest of the movies were, because all of it was leading up to the Emperor dying, and that was that, and that's good.
I could have forgiven the movie if they had like a fight scene, like a Revenge of the Sith style fight scene.
If they had that lava scene fight scene, which went on
if
for a glorious
like
10 minutes.
If they had something like that, I could have forgiven it.
It was beautiful, that thing, but they didn't. I mean, the best thing that they did was with that sort of forced FedExing lightsabers. That was kind of cool, but they didn't really use it much beyond, oh, now you see it? Now you don't.
Yeah, I sort of liked when Rey was on the floor and like all the to her, like saying, I can't remember what they said, but they're like, you just...
I saw a video on this earlier, and the reason that Rise of Skywalker, or whatever the movie, Rise of Skywalker, yeah, the reason it feels a bit flimsy is because every time they make a really big, important, plot-changing decision, they immediately
go back on it. Yeah.
They don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, Chewbacca, he's dead. Oh, next shot, he's walking somewhere. So he's not dead. Oh, Rey's dying. Rey's dying. I was like practically ecstatic in the theatre when I was dying. But then no, Ben saves her. And like everything important is just immediately taken away from you, so it has no weight to it whatsoever. You know?
Yeah. That C-3PO thing where he's got his memory wiped, and you think that's going to change his character, and it's going to be a real nuisance for later. And he gets it back in like 5 minutes because R2-D2 backed him up, and it's like, why?
It's just it had so much. The new movies had so much potential. They just. I think it all came down to
two directors.
Yeah,
I think the directors choosing different directions for each of their films, and then sort of trying to fight each other off in the middle of productions. It just didn't work, and it feels like a really split trilogy. And I wouldn't mind seeing Duel of the Fates, like if we retcon Episode 9, just to see like an alternative version of what could have happened in Duel of the Fates. That would be nice.
Yeah.
The thing about the new trilogy is I feel like no one was brave enough. So the prequels, you got, right, new characters, new settings, CGI, it's this new technology, let's try it, give it a go. Different coloured lightsabers, why not? Droid army, let's do it. Clones, let's do it. Everyone was brave. It was this huge new thing. So much new stuff got introduced. But it's because the person writing it was brave enough to say, we're doing it and we're going full on with it. the new trilogy, though, it's kind of like,
More
okay,
is
let's
better.
introduce
That's
these
what
new
they're saying.
characters. Yeah, let's introduce these new characters, Rey, Poe, Finn, but they're really generic. We're not going to be brave with them. Oh, we need a villain. Let's bring back the Emperor. We've got Kylo Ren. He's good. He's brilliant, dynamic character, but he's not. He's not much. He's not
Kylo Ren's
into.
he's probably one of the best things of that trilogy because I know for a fact Rey isn't.
I kind of really did like Kylo Ren. I think he had the potential for the best arcs in Star Wars, like the whole saga.
I don't think we really find that outside of Darth Vader, and that's only because we've had so much time with Darth Vader. But every step and every time you see him, he's changing his character because he's talking to Rey and he's having these emotions with his father and Leia and the Force and Snoke.
Yeah.
It's always happening with him. Whereas the only thing to change Vader happens in episode 6 after they find out that he's his dad. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just
So yeah, I'd say it probably is one of the best character arcs.
I did really like his character arc.
Yeah, no, I like it. But that is a lot of sort of sequel stuff, and I feel like we should probably save that for another round.
Yeah, I'm down too.
47
I'm down.
minutes.
We could go on for ages about Star Wars. Let's be real.
Yeah, we'll save that for another
The
episode.
prequels is probably one of the shortest topics that we could have covered. This is the taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
So
We've
yeah,
got another
Shall we-
trilogies, another 2 trilogies to go after this. This was the prequels based. We got another 2. Right.
oh
Yeah.
my god, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be no one's
Alright,
listening.
so
by the way,
let's wrap it up there.
let's wrap it up there.
Thank you guys.
Wrap it up there.
Thank you guys for watching. Again, if
Thanks
you're
for
on
having me
YouTube,
again.
that's
It was
fine,
good to
Johnny.
have
Thanks
you.
for coming on.
Again, because
Again.
yeah,
I
he was
got
on-
a bit angry over Ray. Sorry.
Yeah. It's
And no one can
acceptable.
blame you.
It's why you're here.
Yeah. We're here to be
Um,
opinionated and angry. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment, Spotify follow, and yeah, next episode it will be coming out. Is it
Well,
tomorrow?
no, because we'll
Sunday.
release this one today
Yeah,
on Friday, and then Sunday's the next one. It's going to be technology, and we've got Marlow.
technology. Yeah, so that'll be a
Yes.
good one. If you guys like technology and all that, we're gonna have a big talk about everything that's going on. So
As we do every other day.
Yeah.
yeah, so catch you
Right, I got a
guys
dip
then.
now, so I'll see you
Alright.
later.
Thanks for coming on. We'll see you guys later too. Bye.
Bye.